Hey, welcome to Cow-Free Kicks. On this channel I review leather-free sneakers only, and this video is all about the Nike Pegasus Trail 5. Welcome to the channel. If you've not seen one of my reviews before, I always look into 5 different categories when I review a pair of sneakers, and then at the end of the video I will give these Nike ReactX Pegasus Trail 5s an overall rating out of 5 stars. As always, if you do like what you see as you're going along, please do not forget to click the little thumbs up like button below on your device, and if you want to show a little bit of extra support, please do take time to subscribe to the channel. So let's start this review off as we always do by checking out these peg trails on feet. Currently available in 3 different colorways via the Nike app and website. This is possibly my favorite trail running silhouette series of all time. I think the Pegasus Trails have been amazing since 1 and up to this version, the number 5s. I do think that this jade colorway just pips the olive colorway and then the black colorway. I just think it hits a little bit different. Obviously they're going to be open to getting a lot dirtier than the other versions, but I just think these sneakers, as well as being a really nice trail running shoe, definitely have the looks and the class and the style to be an everyday lifestyle sneaker as well. Now there's some subtle changes to this version from the previous versions. Probably the biggest talking point is the fact that this midsole unit here previously was a Nike React midsole, but now it's a Nike ReactX foam midsole unit, which is seen as an upgrade to the previous versions and is supposed to offer more bounce and much more flexibility when you're running and walking in these shoes. We'll talk much more about that in the comfort section, but just looks wise, I do think they've done a really nice job with the midsole. I do like the fact that it's got this nice cutaway almost separating the top and bottom half of the midsole. Incredibly large midsole unit in the middle of the foot, large again at the heel, and it does taper off a little bit towards the toe, but still a huge amount of foam in this midsole unit. Another difference is the fact that you've got less tread on this rubberized outsole for this version. That's to increase durability and bounce and flexibility, so that more of this foam midsole that you can see that's exposed in the middle is making contact with the ground, and there's less getting in the way, I guess, with having a much larger and more hardened rubberized outsole. But the grip is not lost on these. There's still a really nice amount of grip that's offered from this rubberized outsole. Then you move towards the laces. Now these are a move to zero shoe, so 20% of the materials in this shoe at least have been made from recycled materials. So with the eye stays for these, you've got a bit of this recycled material that you can see just has some grain effect to it there, and that's got a little bit of the recycled materials. A lot of the polyester in the upper of the sneaker is going to be recycled as well. And there's a couple of hits in the outsole that you can see where there's a couple of different colors, so possibly partially recycled rubber outsole as well. Now when you move to the front of the sneaker, it's got that quite reminiscent toe guard there, so the grip on the outsole does rise up towards the front of the toe box to create that rubberized toe guard. You've got more perforations again in the fabric that's really nice and soft to the touch. Those perforated holes there run through to the middle of the foot, and then as you move towards the rear of the sneaker, you've got this little pull here just to help you get them on. You've also got some little dots here of reflective detailing just so that it helps you get seen a little bit more if you're running in the dark. This is almost like a thick lace, slightly odd, but it does actually feel really nice when you've got your finger in it there, and it does help with getting these shoes on and off your feet. The inside of the sneaker, you've only got a tiny swoosh, whereas on the outside you've got an enlarged swoosh that does encroach onto this React foam midsole unit. I don't think there's anything else to discuss really about the upper of the shoe. I just think overall they really do look really nice in hand and feet, and definitely get 5 stars for me in the looks department. Now I want to move on to their comfort, where I want to put this ReactX midsole to the test on my backdoor step. You can see from the step test that you get a really nice amount of give and responsive bounce back from this ReactX foam midsole unit, all the way from toe to heel. It does taper off a little bit to become quite thin towards the toe, but under the ball of your feet, you're actually getting a really nice amount of responsive cushioning. You definitely feel the cushioning more in the middle of your foot where it's the most chunky, and then towards the heel of the sneaker as well, where it's still incredibly chunky. Now, I don't think it's as squishy as just the standard React foam midsole units you got on the previous versions. There's definitely more of a firmer feel to it, but the ride under your foot and the bounce that you get from this ReactX foam midsole is incredibly comfortable. Definitely one of my favorite foams on the market at the moment, along with the Diadora Anima foam midsole as well. And I just think the comfort is very difficult to beat under feet. And also, even though they do have quite a rugged outsole unit, they're incredibly flexible in hand. It doesn't take much effort at all to bend that round. So they're a really nice flexible shoe, and you're going to feel that on your feet when you're walking around generally, or when you're having them on for a run. On top of your feet, they've got really nice cushioning around the heel, and the tongue is really nice and soft and cushioned. On the inside, you've almost got a softer layer of fabric that sits underneath this perforated top fabric, and also the tongue of the sneaker is sewn in halfway down the shoe as well, so you are getting a bit more support and stability with the fact that the tongue isn't going to move around on top of your foot. Overall, a really nice shoe, and don't forget they've got quite a wide toe box on these, so they are going to offer you quite a nice amount of support and running area for your feet to hit the ground. Saying that as well, I've got slightly wider than average feet, but fit-wise, I found the toe box in these really nice and wide, and also lengthwise, these are an absolute true fit as well. So don't worry about going half a size up or half a size down, just go for your standard Nike sizing when you're trying to buy a pair of these. Now I want to move on to their weight, where I want to pop them on the scales. Coming in at 318 grams per foot. That's a great weight for a pair of trail running sneakers, especially one that's possibly got a heavier compound foam midsole than it did last time. They've definitely saved some weight with reducing the amount of rubberized outsole you've got, and this upper material here does feel very light and soft, and they do feel very light on your feet as well and in hand. Overall, improving the comfort for me, that you don't have to drag around a heavy pair of sneakers. And I consider any shoe under the 350 gram mark to be lightweight, and anything around the 300 gram mark to be incredibly lightweight. So creeping towards that 300 gram mark, Nike's done a great job in reducing the weight for these. Now I want to move on to their breathability, where I want to pump this upper full of smoke to see how breathable it is. The perforations in the toe box for these Pegasus Trail 5s are quite large. There's quite a few of them. The only problem is that's the only area really where the smoke can escape from, and it did escape from there in large amounts and very quickly. So these are going to be a nice breathable shoe in the toe box, but for the rest of the sneaker, there's no perforations or areas for the air to escape in the middle of the foot and towards the rear of the shoe. Now obviously, escaping from the rear of the shoe, that's something that not many shoes are going to have, but I did find that they really lacked breathability in the middle of the foot. Now it's not going to be too much of an issue, because I do think the perforations in the toe box will allow them to be airy enough. They're just not going to be the most breathable sneakers out there at the moment, and I do think that could be an area for improvement when they consider making the next version, the 6s, probably next year. Now I want to move on to their price. Now these set me back £130, and for me I think that's a pretty fair price for a shoe that offers everything that it does, because the only thing I think they're lacking on is what I've just mentioned, and that's breathability. But in every other area, I do think these sneakers really excel. And for that reason, I can only give them 5 stars. They do fall down a bit, like I've said, in the breathability, but I do think they're a great weight. I think they look really good. I think this jade and the olive colorways just really stand out, and there's probably going to be some more killer colorways out there. Like these in a triple black will just look amazing, maybe with a gum outsole. I don't know, maybe I'm just dreaming there, but if Nike could produce something like that, it's just looks wise, I don't think they're going to be very easy to beat, especially for a shoe that I think really converts nicely from a trail shoe to an everyday lifestyle sneaker as well. Now if you've liked what you've seen today, please do not forget to give the video a thumbs up right before you leave. You can also drop any comments below, follow me on Instagram, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye.